Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Everyday Psychic Show. Healing guidance and readings for everyday people just like you to find your way to your highest self and living your best life. Hosted by Jennie McDaniel and Drew Pillow. Well, hey, testing, 1, 2, 3. Do you read me over? This is Drew Pillow. Oh, there she is.
Do you read me? Cool.
Yeah. I was like, what does that sound? Am I cooking bacon? Oh, that was Jennie McDaniel in the background doing her thing. Jennie, first let's welcome everybody to the show. Today's the Everyday Psychic Show. This is a show that's about teaching, healing, guidance, and more, and really cool discussions, topics that, are important to people like you. If living your best possible life is what's important to you. And I'm Drew Pillow, and I'm the voice, and Jennie McDaniel, she's the talent. Jennie, healer, teacher, guide, massage therapist, hypnotherapist, psychic medium, quantum karmic healer. That's something I want to talk about today because I don't know what that is at all. I probably have an idea, but not really. And also, this is about the listeners. So if you have questions, you'd like to call in and comment and question, we open up the phone lines for the opportunity for you to do that. And that is our intro. So, Jennie, how's it going?
I'm doing pretty well. I've kind of had a frazzled day, but now I'm settling into doing some readings and hanging out with you. How are you?
I'm good. I'm hanging in there. It's been a frazzled day for me, too, and I had nothing to do for the last hour. It's just like the last 5 minutes just got like, yikes. So now I'm settling in, and everything is cool. I'm drinking water, that really good water.
Does it still sound like I'm making bacon on this side of the sound?
No, not at all. You sound perfect. So this week, I got to get everything set up so we can take calls. We got calls lined up. Not as many as before, but good, because that leaves us lots of room to talk. And I wrote down some things that I want to talk about today, and hopefully you have some things that you want to talk about today also, so we can just fill up this hour with wonderful stuff. So anything new and exciting going on with your week? Any new news and insights, epiphanies you want to share with us?
There's just been lots of movement. It's been busy at work and busy in my personal life, and I'm feeling all these retrogrades and shifting, and I'm digging it. It's just intense. How about you?
I have to think about it. Yeah, I think everything is kind of cool. Everything's kind of been just cruise control. But that's not true. See, that's why I like to think, because sometimes I'll think something, but it's not even true. Like, I feel like everything's cruise control, but everything is really coming into crunch time because school starts this week. And I'm excited, but I know it's going to be a big change, a lot of work, and I'm bracing myself for it. I'm excited. I'm ready for it to begin so it can hurry up and end. So I think I'm getting a little bit last-minute edgy or something. Just want it to start. You know what I mean? I want to get it over with. It's like going to get a tooth pulled. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's like getting a tooth pulled. I just want it to be out of there. But don't look at school that way unless you want to be like me. So I wrote down some stuff that I thought was cool to talk about today. And here it is. I'm going to just tell you what I wrote. It's a better life. People, in pursuit of a better life, people decide, hey, I'm going to try harder. But if you're doing the same things, you're probably going to get the same results. So, you know what I mean? Like if you're a poor pianist, you've been practicing poorly. If you decide that I'm going to double the amount of time that I invest into poor practice, I'm still not going to get better. So something needs to change. Well, what do you do? That's the question, because it's overwhelming to say, how do I change the course of my life? First of all, if I say that, it's almost like an admission that I don't know what the hell I'm doing. And my ego will never let me say that. But even if I get over that, now the big question is, where do I see? Who do I even ask? You know, I've been programmed to never let them see me sweat. So it's really kind of like a setup. It's almost by design that I'm, you know, doomed to be stuck in this cycle. Um, it's like people are saying, "Hey, I need when am I going to find new love?" And it's like, "Oh, well, what makes you think the new love is going to turn out any different from the last love? Because you're bringing the same you into the equation, and aren't you the architect of your life?" So, change is difficult. We all want it. We want improvement, but it can be complicated unless we have some help. I'm grateful that I ask for help, and I have helpful people around me. Guides and teachers and friends who are sometimes a lot of times smarter than me. So today, maybe we should look at some alternatives, like spiritual teacher. The benefits of having a spiritual teacher. Um, Learning to use energy in prayer, meditation, visualizing, attracting things into our lives. Maybe some of these techniques can be beneficial to people that are trying to change the course of their lives and to see improvement in their journey. So I want to talk about chakras, energy bodies, our relationships with spirit, why it's important that we have everything in good health and balance. We know we got to go to the gym to work our muscles, but what about our energy body? We even know that our psychological body is important, but energy is also important too. So I said a whole lot. What do you got to say about that?
Well, I'm just grateful that there are so many healers out there. There's so many different types of help that you can find. So being vulnerable would be the first step, which you've stated very clearly is very difficult in our society. It makes us seem weak, and that's just not truth. It's a facade. So I'm grateful for all these different healers out there, and anyone going through a rough time with all these planets in retrograde and what have you, reach out. Even if it's just your hairdresser, they usually hold space quite well. They're almost psychologists, same as a bartender or someone like that, tattoo artist. Feel what feels best for you and lean into that. Sometimes people want professional healers with a degree. That's going to be a psychologist. And some people are more into the esoterics, and so they might find a spiritual coach of some sort. But either way, it's important to be honest with ourselves and get help when we need it.
Yeah, that's brilliant. I mean, the hairdresser and the barber, it's I think we're in love with titles. Like we've been trained to, at least I have. I've been trained to respect the guy in the white coat. In fact, that's not just me, because there's like some you can look on YouTube and you can see that they've done experiments where they just gave a guy a white coat and he did this experiment on people with electroshocking other people. The guy in the white coat said, every time they make a mistake, give them a shock, give them more each time. And these people, because they respected that white coat, they went as far as to give what they perceived to be deadly amounts of electroshock, like against what they know their own morals. So we respect the authority concept, but really our help can come from all kinds of places if we're open to it. My barber is so wise. That dude is a good listener and has like all the answers to everything. I think he should be Dr. Barber. So yeah, I like that you brought that up. We shouldn't discount, any source or anybody as a potential helper to us, right?
It's true. It can come in many forms, and oftentimes I'll have my clients say to me, oh, people just tell me their issues. It's a natural thing. I'm like, well, you're a natural healer, and they're sensing that, and they're communicating with you. So it can even be a best friend or a family member. But it's always really important as the person releasing energy to make sure that the person you're putting it on is prepared for it. For example, if your husband just came home from a 12-hour shift and he's exhausted and the only thing he can think about is sleeping, maybe eating first, that's a bad time to tell him about all your major malfunctions, unless, of course, it's the house burnt down or something, of course. But it's a bad time to put that on somebody. So it's good to learn to open up and let it out, but it's also good to be responsible with that, hence finding professional healers who take either trade compensation in money, however they charge, and that's an equal trade. That makes it a very equal space. It's, again, wise to be open and letting stuff out, but then also it's another level of wisdom to know when to dispense that. If the person says, yeah, I can handle that, what's on your mind? That's the go. But just, you've had people do it to you before. Everyone has, where you feel like you've just been vomited on by a bunch of unsolicited information. So it's all about responsibility.
Yeah, I get dumped on a lot. Well, dumped too, not dumped on. But yeah, I like that. I like that there's ways, to overcome like these hang-ups. Like whatever your hang-up is, hey, I don't want to go see a shrink. I'm not going to do that. Okay, talk to that person that you feel that, that vibe with. And those people are natural healers, even if they don't know it. So how cool is that? One of the reasons I brought this up in the first place is because people call and they want some direction. Okay, and a lot of times, I mean, I don't know, I can't speak for everybody, but if the direction, the misconception I used to have is like, when will I find love? And I want you to tell me the day, time, and place, and what I should be wearing so it can happen to me. But what I'm learning is that we have some responsibility for our lives. So if I'm looking for the best love, but I'm a notorious drunk that's going to cuss my best loves out, and I've done that in the past, what's the purpose of me looking for another best love if I'm going to keep being the same person and keep creating the same outcome? So I have to take some responsibility for the course of my life. I have to do some work to prepare myself for something better and attract something better, right?
Absolutely, and that's what I like to portray to people when they start talking to me, either on the radio show or just as a regular client, is I can't tell you what you're going to do. God gave us some gifts, one of which is free will, and it's ran by our egos, and those can be very hit or miss. So when people say, well, when am I going to find love? You nailed it, Drew. Well, when you do internal healing that allows you to experience it at the frequency you desire, but there's always going to be some work, and we never stop learning. Hence, past lives. We come back over and over and over again to continue learning at different levels and frequencies. But yes, it's a very common misconception that psychics know everything and we are mysteriously in control of the future. No, we can take a look and view it and see it from the angle that we see it, but there is always an element of change, always an element of flux. And the second that humans start to manage that, because people don't like flux, they don't like change. They want everything just the same because it's easier for them. But in ease, often there's less learning, and the higher self wants a bit of turbulence. Hence, we incarnated in this three-dimensional, pretty heavy, egoic planet. If we wanted all ease and grace, we would have incarnated to the Pleiades or something, which is it's a lot more heartful in that galaxy or planetary system. So we're getting there. It's just not quite there yet, and it's a tricky one. So again, leaning into people that you know and love and getting that assistance, and even if it's just debating and commenting on something, you don't always have to have a problem to lean into someone and get some assistance and comfort.
Right, and I have just opened up the chat room, so if you would like to chat, you can join us on Blog Talk Radio at go to Blog Talk Radio and type in Heart Over Ego Radio, and the chat room's at the bottom of the page, and you can say hi, and I'll say hi back. We have a couple callers. One of them is calling from a mysterious number. I don't know what it is, but I'm definitely going to take that call, and we're going to find out. I'm a little paranoid, I got to tell you. Paranoid. Had our first troll, and I don't want to deal with trolls on the air, but I will, though. I got my crack my knuckles, so I'm ready for whatever. I'm not trying to attract that, but it is what it is. So, and also, if you do call in, if you do want to call in, the phone number is 323-642-1188. 323-642-1188. If you dial that number, you can listen to us on your speakerphone while you're walking around chilling. And if you decide that you want to talk to us, press the number 1, and we'll put you right through. So, yes, ideally, sometimes like uh, I associate with people and they're they have aspirations and it's like, hey, I'm not a psychic and I'm not a guru, but if you take this path, ideally, this is what's going to turn out. This is how it's going to turn out for you. But of course, it's up to you to take the path. It's up to you to stay on the path. And you know how we are. We got to do it our way. So sometimes, it's impossible for me to predict outcomes for people. I know what can work and what can happen and what might happen and what you want to happen, but you have the choice to to stray totally off the path and create
Mm-hmm.
totally different outcomes for yourself. So I think now that's me not as a psychic, but as you. I mean, we can do that with our friends. We can tell them, hey. But as a psychic, it's kind of similar, isn't it?
It really is. Again, you might run across somebody who you've just always felt comfortable talking to. They're a natural healer, and they're either a combination of a good listener and or a good listener and uses extra senses to bring in some nice calming or helpful information. Holding space is what we like to call it.
Holding space. Okay, that's what we do. We hold. I'm holding. I'm gonna start saying that. Man, I'm holding space for you. So I'm trying to get this chat box to work. It's a little weird today, but I'm going to make sure I pay close attention. So if you show up in the chat room, be sure to say hi to me because I'm watching it just for you. I'm holding space for you. So, uh, it's only 15 minutes in, and I feel a whole lot more calm. So I got everything out the way that I needed to do. Maybe we can take a couple callers and then just let things flow from there.
Cool.
Let's take this mystery call. That's I think they're calling from Skype, so that's why I can't see their number. So caller from Skype, tell us your name, where you're calling from, and what is your question or comment today.
Hi, my name is Lisa, Arizona, and for comment, pretty interesting information. That's a lot of information, as a matter of fact. So I was listening.
Great.
And so I have a question. Yeah, it's always good to learn from experts. And you're right about that, the psychiatric. So I have a question, please.
Okay,
And
go ahead.
It's a friend question. Sometimes friends come and go, but sometimes it doesn't last long. So I'm my guy friend that for many years it was great friendship, but then I'm the one that stopped it. One day I just said, okay, I stopped. So then the terminal is that I've been trying to live late so I can clear something with him in a polite manner because it's always been polite. Do you see that in the nearby future that we're finally being able to have a communication and clear the closet?
Yes, wonderful. Yes, I'm taking a look here. Thanks for calling in. And yes, your spirit guides are coming forward and they're giving me, and they rarely are this for sure about things, so I'm feeling pretty confident saying it. There is a really good possibility that around the corner, both of your egos have shifted and moved enough to where you guys can, I guess we'll call it, recreate the friendship. Now, they're showing several past lives where you've ran across this individual. They're showing between 6 and 8. Most of them have been pretty tight-knit, like you've been close, either buddies or co-workers or work together. And there was a couple where there was a romance between you guys. That doesn't mean you have to do it this lifetime, for God's sakes. It just means that that's in your parallel existences. And so a really tight friendship, a good connection. So we see both of your egos being as such that are flexible and movable and shiftable, and we would recommend or we would suggest that indeed you will regain friendship, and they're putting the numbers 2 to 4 months out. So they're saying continue doing the work that you're doing, reflecting, being honest with yourself, being patient, and just know that your friend has free will too. So if the choice of his is to not continue the friendship or rekindle the friendship, we have to respect and love people's choices, even if it's not the choice that we want. So they're just saying, we see it looking good, but you always got to leave a wild card in the back pocket because we never can tell what everyone's going to choose. That's the excitement of it. But from where we can see and the energy that we're looking at, indeed, we see a rekindling. So that looks like a wonderful connection getting back together there.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa from Arizona. Thank you for calling in. See, that's the whole difference. That's the whole difference between being a psychic and not being a psychic. Because, yeah, I can't see. Like, how would I know? I would be the worst psychic. I'd be the how would I know guy. But, yeah, I mean, I definitely, everything you said just definitely resonated with me, made perfect sense. I know, like, for me, I have to, like, my goal is to be okay with or without. And that's my biggest thing is like, I think that I'll be okay if this happens or if that happens. And if it doesn't, then I'm not okay. But I got to be okay in the journey. Does that make sense?
Totally. Makes perfect sense.
Like I got to do my best and I have to be okay. And that's what I strive for, because some of the things that I want aren't good for me or aren't meant to be, and all I can do is just do my best. And sometimes they are meant to be, but they're just not meant to be on the timeline that I want it to be. So I have to just keep doing my best and holding space, and doing what I can do to contribute to the outcome that I want. But you can see so much farther, and it's so much better. Like, I love it. I'm still jealous after all these years. Why not me? Why couldn't I be that cool?
It's so subtle. When I get the information, it's so very, very subtle. Oftentimes people think that I'm being talked at by spirit or shown like movies in my head. It's very subtle. It's just a knowing, and they call it claircognizance, where you just have clear knowing. The information just appears and you grab it, and I've taken years to cultivate that, and the more you practice it, the more accurate you get. And I can see working with you as you move through.
Oh, there you go. You almost got lost.
Am I back?
Yeah, you're back now. Yeah, and it's good that you continue to practice, because it just helps you to be of greater service, And a lot of times, service is helping others is the motivation, even though some people's motivation is to become rich and famous. But a lot of people's motivation is just to be helpful and be, the best help they can be to other people. What motivates you? What motivates you to put in so many hours learning? Because you're always learning. You're taking this class, and I just took that class. I just studied under this guy, and it's like you're just continuing to build and fill up your toolbox. And what drives you to continue to do more and get better?
Well, I'll be honest with you. When I first got into healing, I was about 24 years old, so the motivation was money. It was just pure, I need to find a career, and I'm sick of waiting tables. And massage therapy was up and coming, and when I got into it, it felt like home, and then I just built from there. So massage therapy and the need to live and supply myself with food and a roof really was the driving point. And then I found out I was pretty good at it, and then I just dove in, and here I am 16 years later. So it's just time has allowed me to gather all these modalities and learn and study and experience. And my clients help me. They ask me questions that have me reaching out further than I've ever gone. So it's practice.
Well, good. I can relate to money being the motive. I think a lot of us can. But when you're driven by something deeper, then I think that's the best. I think that's when you get the most payoff. It's not money, but it's riches they can't tax.
Yep. 16 years in, money is the last thing I think about, and just growing spiritually is the main focus. So it's switched from an innocent or honest capitalism into a wide open spiritual path, and then money just comes in without me thinking about it. It took a long time to get there. That was not the first couple years. That was about, 13, 14 years in that happened.
Well, it's a good thing that you put in the work to be as good as you are, because then that makes it more beneficial to the listeners. And speaking of those listeners, we're going to go ahead and grab another one off the list. Appreciate you guys calling in. Appreciate you guys calling in to the Everyday Psychic Show. This is a show with Jennie McDaniel, who is a psychic medium, healer, and more. And I'm your host, the guy host, the man voice, Drew Pillow. I'm like the normal guy, so that, you know, if you're feeling real normal today, then you can relate to me. You're not alone, because she's got all the talent, and I just got I try to crack jokes here and there.
It's not true.
Well, I'll do something. We just haven't labeled it yet. Yeah, we have, and it keeps changing. See, I got to find myself. I come here every Sunday so I can keep learning, because whatever she says to you, I'm listening to. So let's grab listener. Let's caller number 2. Matter of fact, let's jump to caller number 3. And caller number 2, we're going to get to you in a second. Oh, man. And they left just in time. They got scared. We're going to grab this caller because this caller is from my local area, and I like that. So 937 caller, what's your name, where are you calling from, and what's your comment or question for today?
Hi, this is Jennie. And
hey,
I'm
Jennie. Hi.
Hi.
Ohio.
Ohio.
Yeah.
I was wondering if there are any messages from any of my family members who have crossed over.
Hi, Janie. Usually we don't go into this because we only have about 5 to 7 minutes, but I can, if you'd like, get a quick touchdown if you give me the name of a particular family member. That's how my mediumship works. My channeling, for sanity purposes, you give me a name and I check the residence and we pull them in like a universal telephone. Other than, if I didn't do it that way, I would just be kind of bombarded with past family members, which is overwhelming. So if you want, you can give me a name.
Okay, Melanie.
And who is Melanie to you?
My sister.
Okay, again, we'll see what we can get in the 5 minutes that we have. Generally, this is like about an hour session. So let's see here. Well, she's coming forward and she's going ahead and doing some energy work around your third eye and your heart, because she's telling me that there's just a bit of heavy energy. So just naturally, they come in with bells on to health. That's kind of what they are in the non-physical. She wants to tell you a couple things about where she's at, but before that, we're simply going through and flushing out your heart chakra, because it's heavy with just energies. Being a human, you just collect and store energies. And she's saying it's pretty important that we move stuff around your heart chakra. So when you get off the phone with me, Google heart chakra, because there's going to be some stuff there for you, and you can learn and grow and shift in that space. She's saying that will be wildly helpful. She's saying, you can't even imagine where I'm at. She goes, I can't even explain things to you because there's not even anything physical here. She goes, it is so far from what the human experience is. She's saying, I love you. We come back to where we come from. We have past lives together. We chose the same womb to come through. We'll do it again if you want to. But as of now, I'm in the non-physical, and it's energy. It's a bliss space. It's a frequency space. So she's saying, if I can label it as something, and she's laughing because they love that we say it like this, and they like the reaction that they get. But she's saying, when we're here, it feels like a human orgasm times 100,000. So when everyone's like, is Aunt Sally okay, or is Sister so-and-so okay, we say, oh, yes. Not only are they okay, they're wildly safe and wildly happy. She wants to tell you something, and she's saying, this is going to be the most important thing I say. She goes, please know that there is no judgment where we come from. There is no judgment and there is no dogma. The way that humans think about heaven is complete absurdity. And the reason that it's absurdity is because it was put in our head as absurdity through religious veins, let's call it. So she's wanting you to know that there's no judgment. And when we get back, there's no one punishing us or anything of the nature. It's us getting back to our higher selves and wanting to learn from what we learned. So she's saying, I'll be here in the non-physical. We like to call it the flip side. I'll be on the flip side. When you cross, I'll be here. We'll be connected, and and make a plan to incarnate again if we want. But she says, when you get back, you're not going to want to leave for a while because she feels the same way. It's complete bliss, and it's nice to recover from that human experience. So she's showing a bunch of roses, saying, I love you. It was, I check in every once in a while. If you want to practice your psychic connection like Jennie does, just sit with it and see if we can communicate with each other. She's saying no harm, no foul if you don't, but how cool would it be? And that's why she was kind of brushing off that third eye chakra, getting your intuition moving a little bit, because she's saying we don't have to go through mediums. It doesn't come through words quite often. Like Jennie said, sometimes it's memories and pictures. Just know that if I pop into your mind, I'm very often visiting you, and if you think of me, that's a summoning for me to come spend some time with you. She's saying I can be in many places at once. This is not a problem for me. Do you have any questions for your sister while we have her on the line?
How's Dad?
Well, she's showing Dad being in the same frequency. Is Dad passed then too?
Yeah, just recently.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's showing him already in the frequency where she's at. Again, there's in Jennie's spiritual teachings, which is quite accurate. Oh, thank you. No, they always give me props, and that's why I keep doing this, is because they keep telling you that a lot of this is absolute truth. But what your dad is wanting to get across to you is, just like your sister was saying, I came to the non-physical. Believe me, it was some surprise to see how different it is from the physical form. And I was in a space, and I lived a wonderful, long, I guess we'll call it life. I don't know I guess that's relative of what long is, but he's just showing that he got a lot of stuff in, and he's going to be reviewing and choosing his next existences later on down the line. Showing that's why your sister wanted to come in with that heart chakra energy, and your spirit guides are helping me with that because of the grief. It felt like grief, but I wasn't sure. So if Dad just passed, that's the reason we were kind of coming into your heart chakra at the beginning there. But yes, Dad's saying, I'm in the same place. We all go and come back to this place. And just like in Jennie's spiritual teachings, which we find to be quite accurate, is you pick the womb you come out of, and you pick the time frame. So he's just showing that you chose him, as well as your sister, to come through your mother's womb and hold space as a family. And it's not the first time you've done that with your father. So he's just showing connections from parallel existences, showing his love and compassion and care, and saying you have support here when you get here. Not only your angels and your spirit guides, but you have loved ones here. And just like Jennie said, it's a complete bliss space. Don't, for one moment, be scared or worried that I'm not all right. I'm more than okay. I'm the best I've ever been. I'm home.
Thank you.
How about that?
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate you calling in, Janie. Yeah. I know one thing I took away from that was that, what if we just felt okay with people transitioning into the non-physical, versus, the way we've been taught to think of it. It's like the way I've been taught to think of it is like it's the saddest, most traumatic thing ever. But after listening to you talk, maybe it kind of eases some of that and makes it not, wow, maybe I don't have to be, miserable and be in mourning for the next 20 years. I could actually, try to communicate with and go move on with my life and be happy knowing that, when my time comes, it won't be this frightening, trauma, but it'll be just a natural part of life.
It is very natural. It is just natural and it's just what happens in this existence. But the fear around the unknown is so intense as humans, and then you get it fueled by religion talking about hell and all these things. So I can see how humans got so afraid of death.
Yeah. Well, it's good that we can reevaluate and get new information. I'm going to play a quick 1 minute commercial. We got a couple callers still waiting to get on. Callers from the 216, the 630, and the 415 area codes. You are coming up next. And if you called in and you didn't press the number one, press the number one now so you can get in the queue so you can talk to Jennie McDaniel on the Everyday Psychic Show. Here's my quick 1 minute commercial. Hold your horses. This is Heart Over Ego Radio, a network of shows to raise your vibration and guide you into your best life. Sundays, tune in for the Everyday Psychic Show. Mondays, the Alchemy Sisters. Tuesdays, Radical Spirituality. Wednesdays, Rain Radio. Thursday, Transcending Love. Friday, Womb Magic. Saturday, Knowing Soul. Shows for you 7 days a week, only on Blog Talk Radio. This is Heart Over Ego Radio.
I like that commercial, Joe.
It's almost like it forces you to chill, calm down. It's like meditation. I meditated in that quick, slow commercial. So anyway, we're back, and we are Jennie McDaniel and Drew Pillow, and this is the Everyday Psychic Show, where we open up the phone lines for callers like you to ask questions, make comments, and take advantage of the opportunity to talk to a psychic yourself live on the radio. So let's do it. And me, I'm like the narrator. I get to throw in comments here and there. And because I'm comfortable saying what I think, and Jennie can say, well, I think this instead, and then I can say, oh, see, I learned something, and you can learn with me. Feel free. So let's go ahead and get this caller from the 216. We're going for 38 whole minutes. Caller from 216, what's your name, where you calling from, and what's your question or comment?
Hello, this is Patricia. I'm calling from Ohio.
Hi.
My question is, I've been dealing with a past life karmic relationship in this time for going on about 3 years with a male, older male. It's complicated and all, so on and so forth. Haven't talked to him face to face. And through many readings, through psychics, through Blog Talk Radio, what I've learned and discovered, we had, past life relationships. He's quite manipulative and controlling, and I'd never experienced anything like this before. Long story short, he thought I was he was going to be dealing with me sexually, but I've not had any sexual or any relationship with him at all. He is married. I need to find out. Now, I've released him doing what I have to on my end, and while my entanglement with him was happening, I've been going through dark night of the soul, psychic attacks. And there's just really a vortex of negative energy here in Ohio. So I've just been pummeled. I've come out through that, and I'm waiting to just do something, create something, service a product so that I can obtain the money, and I'm going to relocate probably now. I'm looking at the end of this year. Long story short, he continues to. He had always been doing all this. He's saying he wants to talk to me, and all he did was this telepathic communication. So if he really, and I wanted to talk to him in person to just really discuss what was going on. But anyway, he's had some type of medical issue happen probably the first this year or last year. I think he had open heart surgery. Want to know if is the creator, are we still, we came, for the lack of a better wording, we came together in this lifetime to just resolve and dissolve and release that, all that karmic past life relationship. Is there still a relationship that we're supposed to be in each other's lives, a healthy one? And
no,
has
no,
he
there's not.
changed?
There's not.
All right.
There's not.
All right.
Your spirit guides are coming through, and they came about 5 minutes ago with bells on, saying, no, this is a very typical case of narcissist and empath. You gave him an opportunity to become more heartful, i.e., for him less controlling. He did not show up in that space because of the amount of ego he's dealing with. God bless him for giving it a go. Got to give credit where credit's due. But what they're saying is, you stated that you've done what you needed to do to release, but we don't see that to be full truth. We're seeing a few chords because on some level you feel probably like you've invested X amount of time, so you want to accomplish, finish, move on. But the lesson of the empath is to love yourself enough to not stay in a manipulative relationship, whether it's sexual or not. So they're saying, no, you don't have to stay in this situation with him to drop karmic lessons. You can karmically drop the lesson or karmically manage or heal the lesson by stepping away. That's the healing, by saying, I love myself enough to not be abused. I gave him X amount of time. He didn't show up. I was patient. And I don't see him, from this psychic angle, I don't see him moving very quickly. Now, they're showing that open heart surgery. There is some genetic and some environmental in that, but what they're showing is he's experiencing in the physical level some of that internal turmoil that he deals with. Controlling people aren't calm and serene on the inside. They're a mess. They're erratic and stressed and all the things. So they're showing he is healing from lots of things. You just don't, you can love him from a distance, and then they're showing that cutting the cord fully is you saying, you know what, I gave it a go. I'm being honest with myself. I didn't just put my toe in. I got in. I tried. He's showing up how he's going to show up, and I value myself enough to walk away from this and find what I'm looking for in a loving partner that's ready to show up, at least trying. And it looks like he might be trying, but it's more of a self-absorbed trying as opposed to I want to merge with another human trying.
Right.
So it looks like you're doing really good. They're clapping the hands, so they're saying, we see you've done a lot of work, you've cut a lot of cords, you've cut the energy, and to finally break that karmic lesson, that's why Drew, you asked earlier, quantum karmic healer. I like to go to past lives and take a look at the patterns and help bolster them or just know that they're there. That's half of the healing for people, just to know that they're there. But yes, they're saying you've done your job. The most heartful thing to do would be to walk away and open up space to find a lover that's going to show up with more heart energy and more flexibility. And I'm not talking yoga flexibility. I'm talking emotional.
Right. I'm going to thank Patricia for calling, and I want to say that was awesome, Jennie. That was awesome. It was just awesome. I don't even want to add more to it because I could, of course. But I want to go ahead and get another caller in. And while I'm queuing up this other caller, I'm going to go ahead and add something else to it. I like when you said that you can do it on your own. Like it doesn't require, like, it's not a team effort for you to change the trajectory of your life. We say this thing. We say in the circles that I run in, we say that if I'm not the problem, then there's no solution. And what that means is that as long as my growth and freedom and happiness and joy is dependent on some other person, then I'm kind of stuck. But as soon as I take responsibility and do what I need to do, then I have all the possibilities are endless. Does that make sense?
That's wonderful. I love that, Drew. I love that philosophy.
Yeah, and it doesn't mean that I'm at fault or I'm to blame. It just means that the responsibility is mine. Let's go ahead and get this next caller in from the 630 area code. We appreciate Patricia calling in. 630, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, my name is Lisa. I'm calling in the Midwest portion of the United States.
Cool. What's your question or comment today?
So I was wondering, I'm thinking of like relocating, like totally moving, more like retirement type thing. And I'm kind of looking at Florida. They have like really good health care and taxes, and like I was looking like Tampa or Sarasota. I've been talking to people. What do you see with that for me? I haven't gone and visited yet, but like Miami's crazy and busy, but like
Sure,
culture
Miami
and
can get that way.
but smaller cities.
Well, your spirit guides are coming forward immediately, and they're showing just a lot of your heart energy, and you're so agreeable and lovely. They're just showing really easy to get along with energy, so you could be a friend to anyone type thing. So what they're saying in response to that energy I was sensing is she could go anywhere in the country. So they're saying...
I'm sorry, wait, I'm not hearing you. Keep what?
They're saying you're very lovely and agreeable, and you can really live anywhere you want in the country. They're saying you've been quite practical a lot of your life, and it sounds like that's going into your retirement by the good taxes and the health care in Florida. But what they're suggesting is you physically go there and spend some time, because there's some complaints about Florida. I'm sure you've heard a few of them. It's like living in a jungle. Very, very, very humid. So you being in the Midwest, you know what that feels like, and if that's agreeable for you, then Florida is your place. But if that's something you don't love, they're saying there's a lot of other places that have good tax prices. New Mexico, Arizona, other places, Montana, things like this. So Wyoming, they're saying, yes, if Florida is calling your name, go that way. But just know that you, and the type of person you are, and the way that you've set yourself up, you can go to a lot of different places. So they're saying it'd be fun for you to take little bites of each area. So if other places are sparking your interest, visit them, see what resonates with you, and see how it feels. Because they were when you were talking about moving, they were showing you out west, and this could be another lifetime, or it could just be potential this lifetime options. But they were showing you more out west, getting that dry, open air. But again, it doesn't have to be that way. But just know that Florida can work. Anywhere along that East Coast could work. They're showing they're flowing up into the Southwest there. They're even trailing all the way up to, through Colorado and Montana up there. So they're showing so many options. They're saying it's good to be practical, but they're saying make sure you love the place. So have you been to Florida, I take it? Have you been there?
Well, I just said the whole problem is, like, before you're 65, like, the health care is better in Florida than, like, somewhere like Arizona. Like, you're not able to, like, choose physicians if you have to get, like, private health care on your own. It's just kind of scary. Like, I did like Arizona a lot, but I'm kind of scared about that. With the health care type thing.
And that's very logical, and again, you're very, very practical, but they're saying we don't see, now you be the determiner of this, we're just taking a look and not getting tons of details right off the bat because it's just a few-minute call, but they're saying it would be, that's where they were going with your very practical, consider leaning into just a teeny touch of unpractical. Doesn't mean being irresponsible. It just means, yes, I can be practical and get what I want at the same time. So what they're saying is because the healthcare isn't quite as good in Arizona, they're saying if that is so, so important for you, of course, make yourself comfortable in the space. But we don't see that being, I don't, unless they're just showing your health being okay. I'm not getting tons of details right this second, but they're showing your health being okay as it is. And to base your future kind of retirement space on a fear is not the best space to come from. Again, it's practical and you do what you want. You're the determiner of what you're doing here. That's the beauty of coming, is using that free will. They're just saying,
I think I have to go. I think you're right. You have to, like, I've been to Scottsdale a couple times, but I have to go back. It was
so
a few
cool
years ago and just like check everything out, and then
they're showing Flagstaff and you cruising down to Sedona and getting a reading and shit. They're just showing you really enjoying that western space. But again, you be the determiner. If Florida suits you best, then you can just go visit Arizona. But try not to base decisions on fear. Base them on reality and being practical, but never on fear. That's not the most optimal outcome, especially since you work so hard to get yourself here.
That
Yeah.
was
Also,
awesome.
like, don't you think I've got to let go of the practicality a little bit? Like, I'm not in that much of a situation. You know what I mean? Like, my parents passed away, and I'm a little bit, better off than I was now. Like, I'm able to afford a little bigger place.
Yep.
And it's so hard, though, to get rid of that when you had to live, like, so frugally for 30 years.
Paycheck to paycheck. Yes, they're saying that's why you'll be so responsible for it, and to go ahead and treat yourself. You're always going to make very practical choices. Just go ahead and lean into what you want a little bit more. You deserve it.
A teeny touch. That's the phrase of today. We appreciate you, Lisa. Thanks for calling in to the Everyday Psychic Show. A teeny touch. I like that. Like, don't throw it all in the trash. It's a good thing, but a teeny touch. Be a teeny touch of this and a teeny touch of that. I like that. We still got room for a couple more callers, so I want to get them in there. Something came to me, and from that previous caller, and I just wanted to run it by you. It's like with that unhealthy dynamic between her and that guy, and I'm thinking like. So I know people who sometimes they get into these relationships where they want to fix or rescue others, and I don't think that's really healthy or ideal. But sometimes we're drawn to that. Some of us, are attracted to rescuing people, fixing people. They said it's like a God complex. You want to be God and fix somebody.
It's a nice distraction from our own problems quite often.
And then the other thing I thought is that although we can see the benefits of having struggles, we have to be mindful of forming an attraction to struggle, seeking out struggle versus, just having the natural challenges that come along in life that bring us lessons. Does that make sense?
Perfect sense.
Yeah. So sometimes, we don't want to go out here and just seek out every problem we can find to, in order, because she talked about a lot of good things that were coming from that, like the dark night of the soul. It's not a happy place, but it's a place that can yield some wonderful benefits. So maybe there's some kind of attraction to the benefits. I don't know. But those are things that I was thinking about. So let's go to the next caller. Who's been holding the longest? 415. What's your name? Where you calling from? What's your comment or question? Got 5 minutes just for you.
Hi, this is Anne from California.
Hey,
Hi, Anne.
So, I have been single for a while, and a guy came through just 2 months ago, and it's kind of like the previous caller, if I would guess it, like empath and little narcissistic.
Narcissist.
So I just don't understand why. I've done a lot of work and clearing of old relationships, so I don't understand why he came through.
Well, it's always nice to test yourself, right? We learn, and then we retest ourselves later on down the line to see if we've really learned. And it's just the human ego's nature to want it yesterday. In reality, healing is not linear. It's layered. So they're saying not only will you continue unveiling, but you'll probably choose to come back over and over and over and over again to continue the unveiling. So they're saying try to make it less linear and more layered, and that will kind of help clear the space and clear the manifestation line of bringing in someone that's not narcissistic. So they're saying it's nothing that you've done wrong. You're showing that you've not only done right, but are making choices to not go back into a narcissistic relationship. But they're saying you've just tested yourself and you won. But then just know that there's always going to be more learning. So it's kind of it's kind of daunting to think that we're always going to be learning, but that's just the nature of it and how it goes. So they're saying you've done a lot of work and they're applauding you. Your spirit guides are coming in and showing you to be intuitive yourself as well as connected and things of that nature. But they're saying don't be disheartened. You passed the test. Now hold space and see what you bring in next time. And if it's a narcissist, say no. Again, you're telling the universe that you've learned that lesson and you're ready to move on.
Right.
And before you know it, you will.
Right.
Frequency in or manifest a more heartful individual. They're saying you're really in that light, though. They're showing all that work that you've done, and you really have cleared a lot to bring in the options. So they're saying you're winning. So just keep going forward.
That was awesome. What do you think about that, Anne?
Yeah, I mean, a logical way, it sounds great. on emotional ways, like, you know.
Yeah, and that's absolutely a reality. Being human is bad, and learning is bad, and we are crazy to keep coming back, but it's an excellent way to learn. And I'll be just sending you some energy work. Make sure you get yourself a massage or soak in some Epsom salts water. They're saying keep moving the energy and doing little things for yourself. You're showing up. Are you a professional healer? What do you do?
I work in social services, but not as a, you know, Reiki or not a, you know, not a, not,
well,
not what my shingle says, but I know that my energy does help people.
Absolutely. We'll be sending you some good energy, and make sure you lean into some healers and get yourself some assistance as well. We got lots of planets in retrograde, and it is supposed to be just a crazy eclipse season. So just take care of yourself and keep moving forward. And we're here every Sunday. Call in and let us know how you're doing, okay?
Yes. Appreciate you calling Ann from Cali. That was so good. I mean, it's like, I love what you said. I mean, when she said, I've been single for a while and I've been doing clearing, it's like, oh man, you're so fortunate, and be grateful, because there's people who don't even take time to be single for a while, you know, to heal. They just swing like Tarzan from one to the next, and they don't even know how to clear or that clearing is needed. So you're in such an ideal state. And yeah, if you get challenged and here's a challenge and you say no and you survived it, it's like, hey, get some confetti and throw it in the air and be grateful, because you are on a great path. I love it.
It's true.
Yeah. And we have, and also there's some links on this show page. If you go to Blog Talk Radio on today's show, there's a link you can click on and go straight to Jennie McDaniel, so you can connect with her off air. And you can also do us a kindness and like our show page, Heart Over Ego Radio. And you can also, there's just links. Click them all and like everything. You know, do that. That's called Good Karma, I think. Maybe I made that up. But let's get this. See if we can squeeze in another call or two. Caller from the 210 area code. Caller 210. What's your name? Where are you calling from? What's your question or comment? Caller. Are you there? Nope, they weren't. They're not there. Okay. So that gives us a couple minutes. 3 minutes left. We could kind of sum up what we've done so far today. How do you feel about today's callers, today's messages? Is there like an overlying theme for today's show, or any message that you want to give?
I think all of our callers were rather evolved. I think every one of them had a lot of substance and a lot of heart energy and are well into their path of spiritual, emotional, psychological, and physical healing. So I think it was a good day, and I think it went well. How about you?
I loved it, except, and there's this thing that happens every week, and I'm really getting some clarity on what it is. It seems so fast-paced. You know, unfortunately, we have so little time, and we have so many people that we try to connect with, and it seems like the pace is just like pulling energy out of me, like mass quantities. And it's like at the end of the show, I'm like, oh my God, it's over. And then I feel so much better. It's almost like working in an emergency room. I just wish that it could be more mellow, you know, like, oh, we're going to take 5 calls and that's all. And we're going to take our time and we're just going to be chill. You ever feel like that? You ever feel like this show is like super fast?
Yeah, well, yeah, and it's like fast food psychic readings. It's not a sit-down 5-course meal. If that's what you need, then that's a personal session. But when you're doing these radio shows, I always like to tease on the Alchemy Sisters, my Monday show, and say, well, Sunday we take callers too, but it's more of like a circus energy. For some reason, on Sundays it's crazy, and I don't know what it is. It must be Drew. No, I tease.
Yeah.
But we do have to kind of spit some stuff out in 5 minutes so we can get a few callers in. So it's like a dinner rush. After the rush, you've made your money, and you sit down and count it, and you go home. It's kind of like that.
Yeah. That's something I want to think about this week. I'm going to pray and ask my guides, like, what am I doing the best that I can do, and maybe I can do something differently, because there's just Like, my expectation for today was, and there's that word expectation. When the last caller was talking, that word kept coming to my head, expectation. Like, is this not working? Sometimes it is working, but it's just not matching my expectation. Like, this show is working, but my expectation today was we were going to just chill and talk. And then here we go with all these callers again. You guys, you better go and like our page. That's all I got to say. You better like our page. Because we could have been chilling and talking, but instead we gave it all to you.
Maybe
And
what we should do, Drew,
yeah.
is we should every once in a while on Sunday just have our voices on the air and just have a conversation space. We can totally do that on Sundays too.
Good, and that's what we should do. That's what we should do. But as you know, right now the time is 5 o'clock, so I'm going to play this extra music, this get out of here music, and then we'll see you guys again on next Sunday, 4 o'clock Eastern. And be sure to tune in to Heart Over Ego Radio all week long, right here on this Blog Talk radio station. You can catch shows tomorrow and throughout the week. Go ahead and check out those shows, and if you call in and talk to them, tell them we said you're here from the Everyday Psychic Show. I'm Drew Pillow. On behalf of Jennie McDaniel, we are out of here. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Everyday Psychic Show. Healing, guidance, and readings for everyday people just like you. To find your way to your highest